It's called The Twine That Binds. The warrior of time present and time past, placed in harm's way, all alone or arm in arm. The taste of fear, the smell of death, only those who stood on this consecrated land hold this twine that binds. Others see and nod, shed a tear. They have no idea, no way to touch, no hand to hold the twine that binds. The best to battle, so young to maim, to die. Memories of the crimson tide, faces of those who crossed the line. Brought back through a bleeding hearts, bruised spirit held together with the twine that binds. Lives changed in so many ways, not all scars for eyes to see. Many wounds buried deep, image, thought, or familiar sound brings forth a rush from wounds of old, the veterans of the battlefield, the thread that surpasses time, the twine that binds. I'd like to do one more if I can.
Yeah.
It's called The Flag in the Drawer.
I
The
love
flag
this
in the
one.
drawer never felt the gentle breeze, never shimmered in the sun, never climbed the highest pole, a drape for a native son. The flag in the drawer. Three corners to the fold, on caisson slowly pulled from battlefield to grave. Gently lifted, folded, put away, the flag in the drawer. The tears that fell upon this flag, the sacrifice lies deep inside. Not only he who gave his life, but those he touched, left behind, the flag in the drawer. So many times to arms the call, so many times the coffin shawl, so many times this sacrifice. Is this the cost of freedom's light? The flag in the drawer. When we see it on the highest pole, when we see it shimmer in the sun, when we see it flutter with the breeze, remember those who stood the test, the flag in the drawer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridging the Gap podcast. Hard one to kind of talk to after that. So Bill Nelson was on episode number 5. We urge you all to go and listen to that podcast. That was just a little sneak peek, but what an amazing soul. And Bill is near and dear to our hearts. And I just want to honor Bill so much. He had passed away, was it last week, Dave?
Yeah, early last week, and I didn't know how hard it would be to see that, and it's pretty hard. For those of you out there, he was a Vietnam veteran. I'm an Iraq, Afghanistan veteran, and I met him at a Welcome Home Initiative, Veterans of War retreat. He was one of the greatest men I knew. He didn't only talk the talk and spirituality and Jesus and what he's done for his life and just how much he's changed in 50 years, and he walked it too. So many people can talk it, but Bill walked it. And when I met him in 2020 and he saw an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran hurt, and that man, it's like he made it this personal mission to just stand by my side, and he wouldn't leave me alone from February 2020 till now. He would call me weekly, every couple of weeks. We would talk daily. He would do that for a few other friends, Josh Thomas, those in the Welcome Home Initiative daily thread. He's a beautiful man. I'm honored to say that I knew that man for that very short time. His wife, Betty, married 50 years, probably 50 plus, all of his family, beautiful family. He used to buy my kids Christmas gifts. They would send a Christmas card. It hurts. It doesn't matter. It hurts deeply, and this is grief, and I have tissues on the table because I didn't know how much it was going to affect me, but it's affecting me. So, yeah, my brother, we love you. We pray for your family as they grieve and lament to finally do life without you, but we know where you are, and you're a beautiful man, and we love you. And for everyone watching, this is what it is to grieve a fellow veteran, even 50 years apart in wars. So I'm grateful for his coming on podcast number 5 and just those the poems he wrote. That's what helped him heal. So yeah, love Bill.
And what a true testament as to why we're doing this podcast, because his story is so amazing.
Yeah.
And our mission through telling these stories is that other veterans can connect, can relate, can find glimmers of hope, whatever you need. That's what the goal of this podcast is to do, is to provide you with resources, hope. And I mean, Dave, through the Welcome Home Initiative,
Right.
you were able to connect with Bill.
Oh,
and
yeah,
look at the connection that you made.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones to talk to me when he saw how bad I was hurting, and he came right across and said, "Brother, I want you to know my heart is on you, and we're gonna connect during this whole retreat." And sure enough, he did. And like I said, we connected, and we never stopped connecting. Even when I wanted to isolate and not talk to him and everything, I'd find a text. Well, I know you're isolating, you might be hurting, but I'm not going anywhere. And I just always remembered that. And there's a few other brothers in the Welcome Home Initiative that got that same beautiful treatment from him. And he just exuded positivity and love. And just for those of us who struggle to receive that at different parts of our life and seasons, that man never stopped giving it. So we're honoring his family and the Welcome Home Initiative, but him as well, as he's in a much better place. And we'll see you soon, brother. We love you. We love you, and we love your family. So, yeah.
And I know he and V connected so well, even in just that one podcast. So shout out to V. She couldn't make it. She's on vacation.
Yeah.
But shout out to V, because those two just connected instantly. And
Yeah.
just a friendly reminder as to why we're doing this. Our mission is to bridge the gap between the veterans, the stories that they live, the family members of veterans, and the extended community. Again, through storytelling, education, and relationship building. And this again is a true testament as to why we're doing this.
Yeah.
To kind of transition this to today's podcast and how amazing the Welcome Home Initiative is, we have another member of the Welcome Home Initiative that Dave has connected with, Donna Zephrine. If we can go ahead and bring her up on the screen there,
That's
Isaac.
my buddy Donna. I met her also a year and a half ago at the Welcome Home Initiative Retreat Center in Queensbury, New York. And me and her connected really well. She did some time, like she's in jail, but she went to the home base in Boston and got her help there as well as I did. So we immediately connected. She's a good friend of mine, a sister, and we get to highlight her today. I think we've done three female amazing veterans in a row, from V, and then Tiffany, and now Donna. And so I'm so excited. Donna Zephrine, my buddy. Yeah, I love you, my sister. And kind of tell us where you're from. Where were you born and where you're from?
I was born in Harlem, New York. And then my family moved to Long Island, Bayshore, in Suffolk County. So I lived most of my life in Long Island, Bayshore.
Yeah. Where are you living right now? You living in that area?
Yeah, I still live in Bayshore, Long Island.
Yeah. I will tell the group out there and everyone watching, I've never met someone like Donna where she has done so much to heal. I mean, you're going to just get a little glimpse today, but when we say it's not one modality or one thing can heal you, and many people try one or two and quit, Donna by no means is that person. She's never quit, and she's always continued to find what works to heal, and she's found her life and service work in helping other people in that work. And so just want to applaud you, Donna, tell you how proud of you we are, me and Andrew, and just everyone watching is going to get a little taste of that today. You're amazing. Just want to say that.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Absolutely. Why the military? Like in high school, you did what?
I did the Air Force Junior ROTC in Brooklyn High School for 4 years. And I liked it because usually in high school, most high schools, the ROTC program is very popular. So I wanted to join that and see how it was like. You get a little glimpse of how the discipline of military is like, was as far as wearing a uniform, having inspections.
Yeah.
Friday.
It provided that discipline, right? It's part of that discipline. Anyone in your family in the military at all?
My uncle, my mother's brother, he was in the Army in Trinidad. I never got the opportunity to meet him, but I used to see pictures of him like, oh my God, he's a war hero.
Yeah, so it's that inspiration from an uncle to kind of join as well.
And then I have another cousin on my father's side. He was in the Navy. But, he lives in Brooklyn, but we haven't really corresponded over the years.
Yeah. After high school.
Then I have another cousin. He was in the Marine Corps. But I found out later that he was in
fellow brother right there, fellow brother, Semper Fi. He'll probably never see this, but that's okay, fellow brother. I get the Marine hat right here.
I can speak to that too, as a sibling of a veteran, two veterans. Seeing you guys in your uniform, there is something inspiring just seeing someone in uniform, especially for the era that I grew up in. And so I'm totally with you, Donna. Now, I knew right away that I was not going in the military. You're way braver than I am, Donna. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, there's something about seeing family in the military that is very inspiring.
Correct.
Yeah. And Donna, usually I would say most of us joined right after high school, but you didn't join right after high school.
Yeah, I didn't join it right after high school. I wanted to experience how college life was like, because my parents were in Trinidad, but they didn't have that opportunity to advance in their education.
Yeah.
So they always pushed my sister and I to try and do better. But I wanted to actually try college first. So I did that. I went to SUNY Farmingdale.
Okay.
And after I was looking at the recruiters from all 4 branches.
Right.
And I know like the Marine Corps, the Air Force, and the Navy, their aptitude test as far as getting in was a little bit more. There was more. The standards were higher. So.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And then I looked into the Army. They were a little bit less strict as far as they had more leeway as far as sports.
Yeah.
Well, then I was talking to them, and then I spoke to the recruiter, and I joined the delayed entry program.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined the delayed entry program in September '96. For about September '96 to May, I was in the delayed entry program. I did the Army Reserve at the unit 1 week in a month, but I couldn't go for annual training because at that time I wasn't considered a soldier yet until after I completed basic and AIT training.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Where is that? Where's the basic and the AIT?
My basic and AIT training I did in Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And for those who don't know, AIT is Advanced Individual Training, where yeah. And what specifically did you go to AIT for? What did you learn?
Well, my MOS was 63 Bravo, which was a lightweight vehicle mechanic.
And what's MOS?
Ooh, good
MOS
question.
is like military occupational specialty.
Yeah, it's what you're going to specialize in for the rest of your time until you change it. So I was infantry. 0311 was my MOS, and then anti-terrorism. So you can get additional MOSs and specialties and jobs. And hers, like she was a light mechanic, right?
Engineer.
Right.
Did you choose that, Donna? You chose that?
Huh?
Do you chose the mechanic path?
I had option. They told me I had like 3 options, either to be a truck driver, I believe, a cook, or a mechanic. But I said, let me do a mechanic because a lot of females are not really inclined with mechanics. So I said, let me do that.
Challenge yourself. I like that, Donna. That's awesome. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. Well done. While you were in the Army Reserves, you were also going to school, correct?
Yeah, I was going to SUNY Farmingdale, finishing up my year before I went to basic training.
Yeah. Did you receive a degree?
Yeah, I got my associates in 1997, May 1997, and that same month, I went to basic training.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing that, again, she joined, and she was also going for a degree, receiving a degree, and just, again, a woman who wants to challenge herself. And I remember you telling me you went in because you just wanted more. You just, from the ROTC to seeing your uncle, you always knew there was something more. And so joining the military was you doing that. So pretty amazing. Right. Something happened in 9/11, 2001. And what happened then, Donna?
Well, actually, I did my PT test, physical training, my 2-mile run, my sit-ups, push-up, I passed it. Because I was supposed to go that same weekend to sergeant school for pre-PLDC in Fort Dix, New Jersey. But then 9/11 occurred. Yeah. I was about to leave, and then 9/11 occurred, and they told me I couldn't leave right away.
Yeah.
And I'd make phone calls, and then my unit got mobilized for 30 days after duty.
Yeah, it's that word stop loss that V talked about, that Tiffany talked about, that I talked about. We got stopped from any movement in there, and Donna got mobilized, which means now she's going to be activated to deploy somewhere. And so I just thought that was amazing. So do you remember when you got activated, when you went on to active duty?
It was, no, we were in reserve, but we were active duty. We were mobilized for active duty for like 30 days.
Yep.
We had to stay at the unit base in at Hempstead near Hofstra University.
Okay.
And it was kind of hard because the unit I was in, I was a mechanic, but the unit that I was in was a military police unit.
Yep.
So you had people in the civilian sector who worked for the NYPD. They worked for the Suffolk or Nassau Police Department or other civilian jobs. So Some of them, it took a while to get to the unit after
Right.
9/11. Some of them lived in New York City or the tri-state,
Right.
and it's hard to get, with all what was going on with transportation. It took
So-
hours.
Donna, did you find that extra motivation when 9/11 happened? Because Tiff, they both expressed that they had a new profound motivation for the military. Did that happen to you as well?
Yeah, I would say so, because the attack happened on American soil. So that changed the world, and then especially with 9/11, it happened on like the backyard of us.
That's right.
I'm in
For
New York already,
you.
Yeah. Especially for Donna, right, in New York.
Right.
And the
right.
flights
Yeah.
left from Boston, where we are, and
Yeah.
they hit a couple of towers where you are. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
backyard.
But even in one of the planes was supposed to hit the White House, but it never did. It went to
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Correct.
And
The fields of
then-
Pennsylvania. Then the other one hit the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And
Amazing.
then I remember they were worried about even the big buildings in the United States, like the Sears Tower.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's not Sears Tower. They call it a different name
Sears
now.
Tower,
in
Chicago. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All the
Yeah.
biggest buildings. Now, from
Yeah.
active duty, October 2002 until January 2006, 3 years, 3 months. While in that time frame, can you tell us about where you might have traveled and where you might have deployed?
Well, first I got a conditional release from my reserve commander to go active duty.
Mm-hmm.
And when I spoke to the recruiter, I had the option to go 3 choices because I was prior service. So I told them I would either want to go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the 82nd Airborne.
Right.
I was going to go either go abroad or stay or go to somewhere down south like Georgia.
Yeah.
So out of the 3 choices, Georgia was picked. So I was happy with that. So when I got to Georgia, I was in process through the 3rd Infantry Division.
Mm-hmm.
But the 3rd Infantry Division has 3 locations. They have Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield, and part of Fort Benning, Georgia. So I got orders to get sent to Hunter Army Airfield, which was good because it's like Savannah's like one of the top 5 cities in the United States.
Yeah.
So I was happy.
Awesome.
And then like 6 months after I was active duty, I was deployed to Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big, that was a quick transition.
Yeah. And this is that time I love to bring up the photos
Yep.
and go the side by side.
I'm
And
gonna press
Donna's
a
going to kind of
button.
walk us through.
Okay.
So Donna, you're going to talk about these and let everyone see a younger you, and you can tell us about them. Who is that?
That's me, a senior photo in the Junior Air Force ROTC program at Brown High
Sharp.
School.
So sharp looking.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
next.
This is the younger years, and here we are. Is this the
That's basic training.
yeah, boot camp style right there?
Them 16 weapons.
Yep, the old
I think it
M16.
might be another basic training.
Is
That's AIT.
AIT. I know it looks the same, but this is that specialty training now. She's
Yeah.
got
Does
it.
everyone do AIT?
Yep, everyone in the military
everybody
goes
has
to
to
basic.
start.
It's like that. To get to even the military, you have to go through the brunt of a boot camp, and then you move and you kind of graduate that and move on to. It's really
AIT.
just another kind of boot camp for specialty training. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Because you're still a boot, but this is her.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so going next. So
That's my picture in basic training.
Yeah. Yep.
And everyone has to take a photo out in basic training.
Yeah. Everyone got. I got one. You got one. Yeah. Look at that. Okay.
And that's me in Iraq in front of Saddam Hussein.
One of his palaces.
It was called Saddam Hussein. I believe it was the Baghdad International Airport, but I believe
Yep, the
Baghdad
Yep.
Airport.
There it is. Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
they didn't have called it Saddam Hussein International Airport.
Right. And we changed it to Baghdad International Airport. She's got a picture in front of it.
Yeah.
Just look at how light
then-
it is too. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the birth. That's a Taurus. I'm in front of the birthplace of Abraham.
Yeah. So that's Babylon.
That's
And we
Babylon,
talked
yeah,
about this,
Iraq.
and then it's
That's
a
biblical.
Babel in Iraq, which is so between southern Iraq and central Baghdad is that Babylon area. Once one of the 7 wonders of the world, and now it's not so beautiful, is it? It's not so nice looking, Donna, is it?
I don't think so.
No
Well, the
hanging
fire-
gardens.
Yeah,
All right, what do we
Yeah.
got?
that's a picture of me in the MWR tent. One of the soldiers was very artistic, so he drew the bulldog with the 915 truck, with the hands of the claws of the bull.
Yep.
And I was a transportation company, so that's where you put trans.
I remember how a V had one of these too, Andrew. Remember on the walls, how they paint them on the walls. It's kind of that the pride of your unit, and that's kind of what this was for Donna and her unit.
Yeah, a camaraderie.
Yeah.
There's a camaraderie piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were called roll dog to make it happen.
I like that.
That's on the grounds of birthplace of Abraham.
Yep, looks a little more Babylon. You can see still the stonework and everything from so long ago is still there in presence. Amazing.
That's me in Iraq in 2003. I was in a 915 truck.
Okay, yeah, big truck.
I had my goggles on for the sandstorms.
Yeah, the sandstorms and it's just one of the brightest places on earth, isn't it? That Iraq sun and heat, amazing.
Right. That's me out in the desert, and then back you see like bombing and stuff.
Oh yeah, I see the black smoke. Could either be from the oil fields, which were all over Iraq. Who knows, explosions, I don't know, but you always saw black smoke somewhere. And again, just desert. And I can see the road going from right to left, as everyone can see. And there's not a ton of highways like we have, right, here in this area or in America. 1 to maybe 2 long roads. There's not many in and out. That's what made it a very dangerous place, too.
Because they knew where you were coming. Like, you only had so many roads to go on.
That's the point, right? Absolutely right.
That's where I'm in the tent with my friend, my battle buddy. Her name is Wendy Cristetta.
Yeah, is that camaraderie again?
She's from Valdosta, Georgia.
Okay. Yep.
She's a mechanic just like me. We were the only 2 female mechanics in the unit, so I didn't feel alone.
How many men?
We had like about. I was like, see, if you have over 150 soldiers, you might have maybe 20 females. So, like, say, give or take, say, for instance, say the unit's 150 soldiers. You probably would have 130 males and just 20 females.
Yeah.
And you were the only 2 mechanics in that whole unit.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Female mechanics, I should say.
Yeah. Female mechanics, yeah. That's me on the record.
Now, why the, I'm going to ask the question. I don't know if Andrew thought of it. Why the difference between the color of camouflage? Tan to green.
The tan to the green? Well, this is my actual coveralls that we got issued in the military as far as working on vehicles and stuff.
Yep.
So, like, if you're working on changing out batteries using the battery acid and oil and stuff, you don't want to get your PCUs dirty.
Yeah.
You take the top and the pants off, and I had my PT shorts on and just the brown T-shirt.
Yep. So
it's hot,
Oh yeah. So think about when you see greens, it's usually Europe, Far East Asia, like Japan and all those places. Those tans are for the Middle East because of how bright it is. The sand. You saw the Saddam airport was completely tan, so we wear tans. You can see the green because, like she said, she has to go to work on these on the big trucks and the small trucks. So that's what she was putting on as an outer garment to protect it because that's what they had. So
if you got oil on that, they didn't care so much. Just don't get oil on the tans.
But if Donna was ever to go outside the wire into the red zone, it would all be tan. Yep. That's just that little bit of glimpse of from a distance. They would see them and just maybe it's off on their aim. Maybe just, you know what I mean? Like seeing tan to tan. That's what camouflage does. So we try to mirror what part of the world we're in with the different colors of camouflage.
Yeah.
So, may I say something? But after my unit chief for the platoon maintenance had the coveralls, but then after it was getting ruined, so we had to order for some other type of coveralls.
Yep.
But it didn't come through, so he ordered like flight suits for us, the tan ones.
Yeah.
And we used that as coveralls as well.
And the flight suits are much. I feel like you're going to bed in them. They're just the most comfortable thing is a flight suit. So I'm glad you got flight suits. I love those things. Yeah. Ooh, I like this. So we're transitioning. Do
we want to go back to your timeline or keep going?
Yeah, I kind of want to ask a question. We'll keep it on that photo.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah. Well, I want to just ask with your life in a war zone, what was some of the hardest things with you being in Iraq at war? You did multiple deployments. You did 2 different deployments. One was for 10 months. The other one was for a year. What was so hard about those 2 deployments? What's hard about being in Iraq twice?
Well, the first time it was hard because we were during the initial invasion of war back in March. So nothing. We didn't know what we were walking into. We had to build our own showers, own bathrooms out of plywood. We had to build our own tents with the sandbags. Some of us had to work like maybe like 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts of pull guard duty. You know,
that's amazing. Just so Andrew, that initial invasion, they're establishing bases, establishing security zones, and so when we get there, it's filling your own sandbags with sand. It's creating your own blockades and stop zones so you're not being attacked. And literally, like she said, there is no, hey, you're going to work a 6 to 8 hour shift. No, we need to get this done because it's a war zone. And so she just said a 16-hour workday. Absolutely amazing. That's what the initial invasion looked like for a lot of the soldiers who went in the first.
And that's the thing that I just don't even think about is when you show up to a base, there may not be a base.
There's not a base there. No.
It needs to be
right.
built.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what status you have, I'm sure to some degree, where everyone's out there filling sandbags. Everyone's out there doing some grunt work to get this thing built.
So she and her unit got there first, had to establish somewhere. There's a lot of sand in the Middle East. You had no problem finding sand. You just had to now fill all those bags, and that is terrible work in the Iraqi sun, the heat, with the hypervigilance of a war around you in an invasion. Amazing. Thank you, Donna. That's actually something I could have put together. I just didn't know until you said it.
Right.
Really amazing. So that's one of the hardest things. What about the second time over, which was a lot longer? That was from October 2004 to October 2005. I want to say that she did a deployment, came home, and only had 10 months in the United States and went back to Iraq for a year.
Right.
It's not recommended in our military to change over that fast and go right back to war, but she did that. So the second time, what was really hard about that trip?
It was hard because a lot of us didn't really want to go back to Iraq at all, because we had a bad experience in the first one. But as you know, when they cut orders and send you have to go.
Right.
But with that one, it was a little bit more. It was more of a hot spot because we were like further up north in Iraq. Right. We were in Endapar province, Iraq.
With the Marines. That's right.
That base was mostly ran by the Marine Corps.
That's right.
It had it had Army, Navy, and Air Force. That was a small population, but it was mostly ran by the Marine Corps. And I remember we used to get hit all hours of the day and night.
Yeah.
With RPGs, IEDs, rocket grenades.
Yeah. So throughout the country, there are different zones, and they're broken down into provinces. And so the Army has this one. The Brits, the Aussies, Al-Anbar was the Marines province, and it was Fallujah, Ramadi, all these areas. And Baghdad and Al-Anbar were hit the most. And she was there with the Marines, and they were hit constantly, as well as the Baghdad area. And I've been to both areas. Baghdad was where I operated most, but like she said, it's just because they're so hard to find. And in Ramadi and Fallujah, there were so many buildings, like a city. And they're just firing from all places, RPGs, mortars, and then they would take off and run, so you can't find them. And every base was getting hit like that daily. And so when she says for a year straight, you just never knew where it was coming from, when it would come, all hours of the night. It's just, and you're on a base, that green zone, but it's not really green. I mean, if I was to give it a color, it's not red, it's not green, it's like that orange zone. It's just that terrible place in between. It's not safe, and it's not completely outside of the base, but it's being hit still. So, yeah, thank you.
I remember on the base, they had built it up as far as the soldiers who we lost, back in the initial to the current at the time when I was there. Like they called it Heroes Field, which was nice. And they had some of the names of the people who lost
their lives. That's right. All right. Well, you were discharged from the military, and you tried reserves for a year, if that's what I remember.
Well, no, I got discharged. You're right. I got discharged from the military, and I tried reserves for a year, and then I got completely out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got out because I'm so impressed, but you knew to call it quits because of post-traumatic stress.
Right.
And you knew that was occurring because what were your symptoms? How did you know?
Well, it was nightmares, flashbacks.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. And at that time, I was kind of like more isolated by myself back then.
And this is such an important part of the podcast because you have language for it, the anxiousness, the depression. When we come back, be honest, most of us just continue to grind out whatever life we're doing with those symptoms, not even knowing it's occurring. But Donna actually knew it was occurring. She was getting the symptoms and actually seeked out help on her own, knowing it was occurring. And she had told me it's because on the way out of the military, the education they gave her at that time was good enough for her to recognize it in herself. I'm so impressed, Donna, that you're able to do
Right.
that.
When I was out processing, there was a sergeant. We had served in the same battalion, and she got out. She had retired, and she said that, when you transition, when you get out, go to your local vet center and the VA hospital.
Right. And you did both of those.
Yeah, I did both of those. Yep. But back then, like I was saying, like there was not much better organizations back then as it is now.
Right. So she did that. She went, hey, go to these 2 centers, check in, get connected, and she did that. Yeah. And as time moved on, they recognized 20-year war, Iraq and Afghanistan, but Afghanistan being 20 years, these organizations started popping up for mental health, for peer support, for connection, for camaraderie, for trips. So now we're going to see some photos of our friend in so many different organizations that I want everyone to take note.
It may have, oh no, the picture stayed. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yay. What are we looking at?
I went to Israel with an organization, a faith-based organization called Heroes to Heroes.
Yeah.
The founder, her name is Judy Erickson Elias, and she was a businesswoman who worked in Wall Street, and her father, I believe it was her father, her grandfather served in the military. And with all the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans coming back, she wanted to give back with all the suicide and stuff. So she founded that organization, and she actually went to Israel, and she found inner peace with her own journey. And as I said, she wanted to give back to veterans, helping them out. So I was grateful to have the opportunity to go to Israel. And I met amazing veterans across the United States, as well as 3 Israeli veterans when we went to Israel. We went to the Jordan River. I had the opportunity to get baptized there, which was great. It was amazing.
And this is such a big deal for those watching. Again, Donna said it, faith-based. Again, I've tried multiple modalities. It's what worked for Donna. It's what worked for me. For us, it's what the name of Jesus Christ. It's faith-based. Jesus Christ got baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist. That's why this is such a big, for Christians, this is why it's such a big deal. Yeah. That's what was a big deal for Bill Nelson, who passed away. Paul, who was on an episode, I think 6 or 7, faith-based. We met at Welcome Home Initiative, all of us, faith-based. Yeah. It's, again, when NA and AA talk about a higher power, we name our higher power God and Jesus Christ, the Son, and that's kind of what all this is that you're going to see. So thank you, Donna, for saying that out loud. Courage to do so. Next.
And I think we have,
It's her coming out.
It's her coming out, a new person.
Did a dove come down or anything? Did the skies open up? Can you tell us how you felt?
I felt good, like new, revived.
Amen. Amazing. And all the people, they're cheering, and then your whole group, too. Really awesome.
Yeah, it was like 10, about 13. It was 10 United States soldiers and 3 Israeli soldiers. So it was a total of 13 of us.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right. And that's that group?
Yeah, that's the group.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to
the baptism site on the Jordan River.
I don't know what it says on top. I can't read it.
Yeah.
Jordan? Beautiful. I think it's a welcome to Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah. That's me there. I was in one of the place. I forgot the location, but I was pretending like I was in that movie with Samson and Delilah.
Oh, yeah, holding up the pillars.
Thing, and he was trying to knock down the...
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I think you could have done it if you just had longer arms. So cool. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, what a great photo.
Masada was the I forgot the name of the animal.
Camel.
Well, did the camel have a name? Did you call him Richie or what was the name of the camel?
Yeah, camel.
Just camel? How many have ridden a camel?
I love camels.
That was the first time.
Why do you love camels?
We go to some locals farms, and there's actually a camel at a couple of them.
Oh my goodness!
And they're just so much bigger than you realize. I think is what it is for me. Is I was in awe of how big this animal was, and I just
look how big
didn't comprehend it until I saw it.
That's amazing. What a great picture. Again, in the Middle East.
So this was through Heroes to Heroes, right?
Yeah, Heroes to Heroes, faith-based organization.
You're wearing the vest too. That just worked out perfectly, huh?
Combat veteran in order to be accepted in the program, or even a police officer, I believe.
Yep.
They have different functions of Heroes to Heroes besides veterans.
Right.
And, again, by you telling your story, Donna, other veterans can hear the opportunities presented by being a part of these organizations. We've talked to some veterans where they just feel like if they could just go somewhere special. Exactly.
Right. Israel.
She's going to Israel. Donna was able to afford the opportunity to go to Israel because of these organizations. Yeah. And you took the time, Donna, to reach out and to get connected and connect with these organizations. So that's you taking the initiative.
Yeah. Right. Application process. Just, you got to do one. And if you need help, there are people willing to advocate and help you fill out applications. It may be boring paperwork, but it shows that, okay, I need to heal. And it's for family. Maybe I heal for my kids, heal for my wife, heal for my husband, heal for family. But ultimately, we got to heal for ourselves because we're dying in post-traumatic stress. And she knew to do it. Look at this. She's on a camel in Israel. She got baptized. And there is this stuff all over the country and world. Retreat centers, just ways to travel. It's healing. And Donna, you found your healing. You found it through faith-based, but camaraderie as well. Look at the women, all those women you were with.
Correct.
Oh, everybody's beautiful.
So I'll go next.
Yeah, what do we got? What are we looking at? Okay, this is where I started out. Home base in Boston, right next to the USS Constitution. And you once again, you got to go through an application process. You meet with a psychologist, and then they place your application in front of a board and see whether or not you make it in. Not everyone makes it in because not everyone needs this caliber of help. Donna got in and I got in. And it's one of the best in the country for mental health. And it's not just veterans, but it's also for family members. It's for spouses and children, and it's for family. So, Donna, what was your experience in home base and in Boston, being a New Yorker?
My experience in home base was nice. The people there, I got their referral through the New Warrior Project because they're affiliated with them. They're like a partnership. And from what they had told me, that's the best one in the United States. It's like the top tier.
Yep. Wow. Yeah,
home
sure
base
is.
In Boston, Massachusetts. And the professionals are great. Like, I had gotten a great orientation before getting there. They laid out the foundation as far as what counsel I'll have, the emails, and then even when I got there, the people were so nice, the professionals as well as the veterans.
Yeah.
I heard that they don't only take 9/11 veterans, they take veterans all from everything now.
Yep, that's right.
It used to be all veterans, but now they're all veterans.
Yeah, just the location's beautiful too, right?
No, and then they help whatever that professionals through everything you could think about. And then they give you like the time when I went was during the COVID. So we had to meet like we had to get a COVID screen every day, but then I had my own room and I met with the professionals through via Zoom, most of them. And it was great. And they gave us a booklet and they matched us up with all what we had wrote out.
Right.
And if anything, then after when it was concluded, they also followed up to see how we were doing. I think like maybe 30 to 60. I think the window was like 30 to 90 days out.
Yeah, they would check in on you. It's not just you end, right? They check in on you, which is beautiful.
Right. And then like if they had something that I wasn't sure of there, they would try to do the research and see if they could find locally where I'm at.
Wow.
To connect me.
It's really good. This is a really good one for us to talk about because we're local to Boston, where we're not that far away. So veterans, that's home base. Again, it's free. Everything's a scholarship. Everything is free. So veterans, if you want to go there, you just connect with Bridging the Gap, and we'll guide you to that process. So
I heard that the home base is really, I don't know if it's true. It's really sponsored by the
Mass General Hospital.
That Mass General Hospital as well as the professional baseball.
The Boston Red Sox Foundation. It's both of them. It's the Boston Red Sox Foundation as well as Mass General Hospital have recognized the mental health of veterans, and like you said, all veterans. So they partner because there's a lot of money with those two organizations, and they do sponsor home base. Yep, sure do. All right. Oh, love this one.
The Welcome Home Initiative.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Yeah, and you see the blanket she has. Every veteran that goes there receives a stitched and hand-knitted quilt. And there are organizations, and I know specific to New York, there's an organization of women who stitched this specifically for Donna. They stitched it for her. They wrote a letter and a note to her. They prayed over it. And you're seeing Chaplain Knowles got the mask on. So this was during COVID. If you go to the next photo, I think has his wife, Meryl. So they're both kind of laying it on her. And you don't know what's happening. You don't know. It's kind of like, hey, they put it around you, let you know the story, and they welcome you home. They look in your eyes and say, welcome home, Donna. This is for you, and this is how this came to be. For those of us who were never welcome home, like literally, or have shame for what we might have done, and when people said welcome home, you didn't really receive it. And this has a lot to do with Vietnam vets, because they didn't have a nice welcome home. I've seen people completely melt when they just receive those words in that community. We want to welcome you home and tell you how much we care and love you, and just be wrapped in that. So that was, I remember when this was placed around Donna, and I knew it was coming. It had happened to me. And it's such a special moment, It's really awesome, Donna. I love this photo.
Yeah, the Welcome Home Initiative, that's a great organization, faith-based organization for any veteran to join, I believe.
Agreed. It's very, very small. Yeah.
Meryl and all the staff, they are great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I know they have a chapter in New York.
Yes, Queensbury, New York.
They have another chapter through Virginia.
Yep, Virginia Beach.
I never been to one in Virginia, but they all work together.
Yeah.
It's for the same cause.
Yeah, amazing. I love these photos. I really do.
There's one more.
Yeah. So cool. And I
But
know.
I believe it's Cooks for Valor, I believe, that does that. Okay. But it's nice that they do that for us.
Yeah.
Now, this is the fishing event I went to out east.
The big fish.
Yeah. What organization was this with, Donna?
It was with the Wound the War Project, but it was through another organization called Operation Real Heroes.
Okay.
And for those keeping track, this is now, 4 or 5 different organizations that Donna has not only been a part of, but has excelled in. I want to stress that.
Yeah, I should keep track. 2, 3, 4, 5, so far 6. We've gotten through 6, and there is more, by the way. 6 organizations that Donna's already touched base with that you've seen photos of. And unbelievable, from Israel to Camel to baptism to quilt to fish to home base. Like, are you kidding me? It's absolutely amazing, Donna.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a life member of the VFW, and that's a great organization. I didn't learn about it until I heard about it before, but it wasn't really much publicity of it. And the VFW is one of the oldest combat veteran organizations out there, and it speaks for itself. It's about over 100 years old. Like the Wound the War Project and the other organizations have been around for 20 years. It's not nearly as long as the VFW. So I was fortunate to be on the cover of the VFW magazine back in 2022 of February.
Yeah.
I belong to this other organization called 22 PTSD Awareness Challenge in Long Island, New York, and we kayaked from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Port Jefferson, 22 miles. We used the foot pedal kayaks.
Yeah.
And that cause is for veterans who suffer from PTSD, as well as the veterans who lost their lives through PTSD.
Yeah.
So we collaborate with other veteran organizations such as the Dwyer Peer Support Group, Dwyer Project, the VFW, the American Legion, AMVET, who else? I'm thinking of, like, say, for instance, the Wound the War Project, Team Red, White, and Blue, Team Rubicon. There's others, I can't remember all the organizations off the top of my head. SAR is another great organization. It's through a friend of mine I met through Sail Ahead, and he's the founder of SAR. It's called Suicide Awareness. I forgot what the R stands for. I have the necklace right here.
Does it say it on it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I love that. Wow. I just want to acknowledge and affirm for a second. I want to affirm you, Donna. You're going to see some photos, especially the VFW magazine here. People are honoring Donna and acknowledging her because of the work she's done, she's put in, that she's telling a story. And by telling her story and doing what she does, it's her servant heart that is helping other veterans, is exposing post-traumatic stress. there's so much other things from interviews and writings she did in college and interviews she's done. I don't know if I said that twice, but there's so much she's done to expose all of this. And she has every right by every magazine and everyone out there to expose all of this because it's beautiful. I just can't wait to continue to see these photos of her. And I know this is just one of many. And here's another one, right?
Yeah, so there's the entire magazine.
Entire one that goes into talking about her story, what she's been through, what she's done to gain the resources and the tools to help her. It's just awesome, Donna.
Yep.
I love seeing this.
Yep.
Ooh,
I love this one.
What happened here? You got a master's?
I graduated. Well, backtracking. But when after I got my associates.
Yep.
And I finished basic training at IT. I went back to school. I applied to Westbury. I got my bachelor's in marketing in 2001. And then years later, I went back to school at Columbia School of Social Work, and I graduated of May of 2017. So that's a couple of my cohorts.
Yes. So Donna also is a master's in social work, everybody.
So among everything else Donna has done, she found the time to get a master's degree.
Yeah. The Asian guy, my friend, his name, and he was in the Army too.
Okay.
He was actually a chaplain in the Army.
Wow.
Amazing.
And he recently got his PhD in religion. And then he went back into service. So he's an officer back in the military.
Yeah. We need good men like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I'm a member of the Convene Communities. This is a Marine officer. His name is Matt Kern. He's the founder of Convene Communities. He does a lot of platform as well as helping people collaborate as far as team engagements. But he has one organization that's with Convene Communities with the Veterans Community. I'm an alumni of that.
Yep.
And I know he wants to grow his Convene Communities with other veteran organizations. So I'm going to help spread the word and maybe bridging the gap. And you guys can
I think it's great.
I was thinking that as you're talking.
He's a coach, collaborator, and counselor, bridging the gap.
You guys are both Marine Corps, so you guys have something in common right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I do art therapy.
I'm going to tilt my head.
I know, sorry. I don't know why that happened.
Okay. Andrew, what's DD-214?
DD-214 is the discharge paperwork.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's the discharge paperwork. We need to connect to all these organizations, but to the VA specifically.
Yeah. I did that through Project 99. That's a local organization in Long Island. The founder of that, his name is Patrick Donahue.
Yeah.
Great guy. He'll help any veteran out. Anybody, especially veterans. And he was an Army veteran, and now he's an attorney.
Yep.
So.
And again, just to bring this back to what this is a modality, a channel for art therapy, right? That's what this is.
Art therapy, yep.
Right.
So among joining all these organizations, they've trained you and given you tools on how to cope. And in your case, art therapy. I know for V, yoga was really important.
Right.
And so among all of the things that we're doing, we're finding resources to help ourselves.
Yes, exactly. And that's what Donna's doing. Another modality was, putting that paintbrush to that board to get out whatever it is. And you can see with her artistic ability, for her, it was that as well. It's so many other things, just amazing. Yep, there's the Joseph P. Dwyer.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Dwyer Prayer Support Group. I was doing research. I didn't know the late Joseph Dwyer. We're around the same age, but he's locally from Long Island.
Oh, wow.
And during the initial invasion of the war, we served in the same division during the war, which is something I find symbolic.
Yeah, that's a very famous photo of him carrying a local child that was injured. Yeah, that's the one photo everyone knows of him. It's great.
That's my article that got published in the New York Times.
Yep, she's also a writer, everyone. Also a writer.
I write some poetry and do articles here and there. I got published various places. I like to writing. One of the counselors from the VA had told me like journaling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that
that's
be part of therapy as well.
That's right. That's where I fall in. I have 7 journals filled out. That's how I found my language, was through just throwing it up onto paper, and eventually it made sense. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's okay.
And then this is another organization called USA Warrior Stories.
Your bottom left-hand corner for everyone. You're the bottom left-hand corner.
The founders of that, they originally were, one of was the founder from Soldier Rod. His name is Nick Krause, and he's a film director. His partner is Matt Hindra. They're both film directors located in Hamptons, Long Island, New York. But they do interviews of veteran stories as well as veteran organizations. And they can meet with you in person depending where you're located. But if they can't meet you in person, they can meet with you like via Zoom or FaceTime,
right?
Other ways. Since we learn new stuff as far as the new normalcy since COVID, as far as instead of meeting in person, you could do it other ways through via Zoom.
Sure. Again, telling your story has been very helpful for you. I know that as you continue to tell it. For me, it was the same thing. It just gets easier after time. Just continue to tell your story. It gets easier time after time.
USA Warrior Stories is another organization you reach out to. They're great people.
And every veteran watching this should be, I don't know, writing down or taking a picture, or even family members of every single organization. This is just resources from a person who's actually done it.
Right.
So it's not just a blue screen with phone numbers and names. Literally, they're real, and she's been through every one of these.
We're at double-digit organizations now.
Are people blown away like we are? Donna, we're blown away. I'm just so impressed with you.
Yeah, Donna, you probably don't know this. Dave and I spent another 30 minutes after our pre-production meeting talking about you and how incredible you are.
Just so you know, because, I mean, I've not done even a quarter of what she's done. It's just, you should never, the healing journey never has to stop. It never has to stop. We can continue to connect, continue to try new things, continue to travel. Remember, in the military, it was adventure, and sometimes it wasn't great adventure. So sometimes all we long for is adventure and getting out there and doing things and connecting with people. And Donna, you're doing that all over the place, and you just still don't stop. That's what's great.
Right. And let me see. I think that might have been the last one. Oh,
yep.
Oh, maybe not.
No, these are the beginnings.
This is okay. This is
that's junior
again.
ROTC.
Okay.
I want to bring up that it wasn't always easy for Donna in the civilian sector. I know we had mentioned the D Club, which is Divorce Club. She's part of that club. That was one of the harder struggles for Donna in her life. She didn't receive support. Again, sometimes she had mentioned her family did support her in some aspects, but again, with an aging mom. And stuff like that. People have their own problems. Yeah. Sometimes in your own families, that can be where the non-support comes from. Donna advocated for herself, knew she needed the help, and stepped out of that comfort zone and found all this support. And Donna, I want to affirm that because some people have families who do support them, and they're just not willing to do it. You stepped outside of that, and you got that support. So I just want to say how proud of you I am for that.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right, so what are you doing right now in your life? What does Donna do?
Right now, well, I work currently for New York State Office of Mental Health. I work for the intensive case management team as a bridger, which I've been doing that for like total working in inpatient, outpatient.
Right.
Now as a bridger, a total of 16 years. So that's good.
People come to you, right? And you plug them into resources and you help them?
Yeah, actually, this past summer, I joined a retreat it's called the Odyssey Project.
Okay.
And they do photography. And we had our retreat up in West Point at Lake Frederick.
Okay.
I believe Lake Frederick. And, it's like a 12-week course. We meet in the Vet Center in Ridgewood, Queens.
Okay.
The class is they had 2 sessions from 9 to 12 and then from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And the founder is Brendan Bannon.
Yep.
And his other co-founder is Miriam Lecture. And it's a program for veterans as another coping strategy for PTSD. We take a photography class. And they issue you the camera. It's called through Canon. And you get the camera. It's a nice camera. It costs like $3,000, but it's used. But it's
Andrew, you know about expensive cameras, don't you? Yeah.
So after when you finish the course, you get to keep that camera.
Wow.
But we did also do at West Point. We did something called Cyan Type, where you had like this type of imagery you had to do. You had to sit on it, and it turns blue.
Yeah.
And and you take an image of your body with whatever props you have. So I know Brendan Bannon said they're gonna have a big exhibit in 2024.
Can you invite me to that?
Huh?
Can you invite me to that? Yeah, for real? I get to go see an exhibit of your stuff.
I mean, if you're in New York City, I mean, the founder,
I'm good with that.
He's located in Buffalo, but he comes to New York City and Ridgewood every.
Sorry, I just invited myself to something on podcast.
You're good at that, though. I'm not good at that.
And I usually get places, but,
I was gonna say,
a good
it works.
Donna, I want to give you an ending call to action. Here we are coming to the end of this. What do you want our viewers to know, our veterans, our family members? What would you tell them? What do you want them to know from all of this?
Well, I mean, I mentioned a few organizations. I know there's another organization that, if you have the time, you want to give back to communities. Another great organization called Team Rubicon.
Yep.
They do stuff like the Red Cross, like the natural disaster.
Yep.
And during the COVID, I had helped out because everything, when we were locked down, there was nothing to do. So I had volunteered through our pantry, helping out, distributing food, which I did that.
Yes.
For like the past, I think 18 weeks plus. And one of my veteran friends, he made like a kind of like a appreciation plaque for me. So I can share it with you if you like.
Yeah, please. Let's see this.
It's through Team Rubicon.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
So he said that to Donna Zephrine, in appreciation for your tireless efforts at Team Rubicon's Kick the King operation, combating the effort of food for those unable to meet their needs.
Yeah.
This is John Welch.
Donnie, you have a servant heart. And it's like, no matter veterans, no matter your crisis or disabilities, don't just try one thing. Don't try two things. If it doesn't work, just don't quit. Many organizations, many resources for veterans and for family members as well. As you can see, Donna is the real life story of a veteran who's been to multiple deployments to war, knew the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, tried almost everything in the world. You saw her on a camel. I mean, come on, who's tried that? Veterans, you got to do that. We care too much about you. She had mentioned 22 a day. We want to highlight that number, because Tiffany, part of the Lowell Vet Center, it's down to 17. That's such good news. But still 17 is just too much. Yeah. Because of these organizations popping up, because of people trying things and exposing everything and telling their story, it's continuing to come down. And we're here, veterans, to tell you we want the 17 to go down to 0. So please reach out for resources. Yeah. Reach out to us. Reach out to V. Connect with us if you want to tell a story. Donna reached out through email and said, can I tell a story? And this has been in the workings for a while, and here she is telling her story. So, Donna, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
I have one other thing. I know I was talking to a Vietnam vet from a local golf thing I do at the VA in Northport. And we were talking, he said that, I don't know if a lot of Afghanistan or Iraq veterans know, or just people in general, you could join the Vietnam Veterans Organization.
Okay.
I just joined it as associate member.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I'm a lifetime associate member for the Vietnam Veterans Association.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't even if it's Vietnam, the Vietnam vets want Iraq and Afghanistan vets. Yeah. Because they're getting older, in their late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, and unfortunately they're dying away. They're passing away, and they need someone to take the torch, and it's the younger veterans like us. So Donna, thank you for bringing that up. It's a great point. And here we are at the end of our time. I'm going to say to the veterans out there, if you're in the dark, if you're hurting, don't isolate. All those symptoms that we've talked about, can't breathe, feels like you're drowning, isolating away from family and other veterans is not the answer. Again, even 17 a day is too much. The population of veterans through a 20-year war, COVID, the crisis of the worlds today with Israel, Hamas, Palestine, all these things, the wars and the rumors of wars, we can't help but be anxious and fearful, everybody. So please reach out. There's so many resources we could have. Come talk to us, email us, and continue to share these stories that we have here. So you're too important to us. Whatever your crisis is, I want you to use that crisis line. I have it here. I just want to say it out loud.
And Isaac, you can throw that graphic up.
Yeah, it's the crisis line. Yep. Dial 988, then press number 1. Text 838-255. And chat online 24/7. V at the Gloucester Veteran Services, 978-281-9740. Tiffany's Lowell Vet Center, you got that number up there. And if you want to go on a retreat, it's not too late, to New York, totally paid for, October 29th to November 1st. I will be there as a peer support and group leader. Email us at bridgingthegapvetpodcast@gmail.com, and I will make that happen. So this is it, Donna. We've come to the end. You are amazing. Amazing, my sister.
I got my Ukrainian flag with me.
What was it again? Say it.
I have my Ukrainian flag.
Ah, oh, there she is. Yeah.
And then Israel, not Israel.
Yep. Amen. Love you, my sister.
Thank you
touch
so
base.
much, Donna.
And
You're
thank
amazing.
you for everyone watching. We'll see you next month.
We'll see you all next month. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for interviewing.
Love you, Donna.
Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.